Hey guys, Creek Stewart here with Apocabox, and I'm actually really excited to introduce a friend of mine.
Meow! Huples cat from very sunny south central Ontario. What's in the box? This is an Apocabox. I can't remember which month it is. I'm in Canada, I get them quite late. I already opened this. It's a really good box. An insert from Boone's Lick Company about how to use a leather strop.
His name is Kevin, and Kevin is with Boone's Lick Leather Company in Missouri.
Yep. The challenge is using a leather strop. I have used one in the past. I'm not very good at it. But actually a leather strop is a good thing to have to actually get a knife blade really, really sharp.
Kevin and his family has made 1,000 of these incredible strops. A strop is used as a final step in sharpening a knife. So if you're not familiar with what a strop is, Kevin, tell us a little bit what a strop is.
You're probably more familiar with seeing barbers use these. What it does is when you sharpen a knife, you have little microscopic nicks and burrs, and this realigns those, gives it a slight degree of sharpness, extra degree of sharpness than it already had. And the beauty of it is once you have one of these and once you have a sharp knife, every time your knife just starts to get dull, you can run it across that strop and bring it back to that just sharpened level. It will not sharpen a dull knife, but if you keep a sharp edge, a few swipes back and forth will definitely maintain that.
Keeps a sharp knife sharp.
So in answer to my question, it's the October box, and it's almost the end of October, so it is an October Apocabox, containing the groundhog hammer. Best item in the box, I really like this. It's actually a hunter's hammer, that's what they originally were, I believe. You have a hammer, and you have a chisel or a pry bar at this end. It won't take much weight on it, but it will scrape and dig and cut into soft wood. And you have a little trowel at the other end. The idea is you carry this and you use this to set little traps if you're a trapper. Won't be using it for that, but as an object, it's a beautiful object, so I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put this, but it's going to be on display. And if I ever find myself in desperate need of a hammer, I have one. It's Reptile Toolworks, so it'll probably rust, which is just fine with me. That's the way the iron is, and that's all the information you could possibly want to know about it. So this is a strop. It's fairly decent size. It's got the clip on one end so you can actually attach it to somewhere, and then you can make your stroppy actions. Holding it like this, whoops, holding it like this, and stropping. Teeth not recommended.
The sheer amount of leather that went into this, so it was the equivalent of probably around 28 steers. They give you the best leather that's the least stretch resistant, and I used Herman oak leather, which they use an oak tanning process that's the same as it was done 500 years ago.
Wow, cool.
So when it's used for saddles, you don't want anything to stretch. So that's their kind of claim to fame is a very durable, stretch resistant leather, and that's what you want in the strop.
When you're starting off with your strop, you've got a clip end, which you're going to anchor. You could tie some paracord to this and anchor it to a table or a workbench or something like that. I'm just going to hold it. And then you've got a handle here that you're going to hold in your other hand. And then what's the next step here?
Blade facing you and work your way away from yourself. And you can get the whole blade in one swipe if it's a shorter blade like this. And then for the return, edge away from you, pull it toward you. Again, you never want to dig the knife into the leather. And, a lot of people were taught that so instinctively that muscle memory kicks in and you're trying to force that in there, which will cut that. So that's a big thing.
Using a stone is different than using a leather strop.
Yeah.
So even though you might be inclined to sharpen pushing like you would on a stone, just do that. Pull it. It's basically the exact opposite for using on a strop.
Yeah.
So if, like me, you're an absolute mega genius with knife sharpening, you would know that you definitely need a mixture of chromium and aluminium oxides.
So in Kevin's hand here is a little green cube, and that is also in your box. That is a green honing compound. It's a slightly abrasive compound that you rub onto your strop before you use it. And it just helps tighten up the edge a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's an abrasive, so it does that final sharpening or final honing. You'll find that this is very abrasive to begin with, but after using it for a while, that will soften up. So you definitely want to start with this, shade it on there like you would sidewalk chalk. It's a lot more dense than that, You don't need to totally coat it, just a little bit of a shading on there is fine. You would want to use that on the rough exterior. On this side, you would just leave that bare for a few final swipes to clean everything up.
So this is what this is. It's a honing bar. You rub a little bit of this on the strop before use. Apparently it will then polish my blade quicker and with a mirrored effect. For those people out there who used to watch my bug out bag videos from years ago, as I tried to figure out what a bug out bag is and what to put in it before I actually clued into what it is. It's generally speaking clickbait and not very useful. Has a use, not denying it has a use, but the prominence of bug out bags in prepping online is ridiculous. This is a Silcock key and it's a nice one. I do have one in the past and I was a bit disappointed with it because it wouldn't actually fix my radiator issue. This one I really kind of like for several reasons. Numero uno, it's light. Usually these are heavy as lead. Now light means it could break easily, but you shouldn't be using too much force on this. Numero dos has the 4 adapters, which I like. Also the central one. People forget about that. This one has a nifty little attachment to it, which you almost never use, but if you needed to, you could. You put the red in there, and you take this and take this off the strap, and you now have a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver. Nice to have, actually. It's not a bad thing to add to it. Now, I have one of these in my car for obvious reasons, because that's where I'd be using it, certainly because I live rural. So I'm not altogether sure what I'm going to do with this, but I'm going to think on it. I'm thinking in terms of actually placing a kit outside a major town for foraging purposes. So if I go into the area well after SHTF, I have tools like this there that I don't have to carry in for accessing things. You know, having a pre-positioned crowbar and solid gloves and boots and stuff like that. So you don't have to actually carry it in. And also maybe a pre-positioned sled or cart to actually take my ill-gotten loot away with me. That's quite a way down the pipe though. I really have to figure out where I'm living first and get this place sorted out. This I find garbage. The only thing in the kit that's actually got almost no use to me. So the idea behind this is you can actually attach your keys and ferro rod and anything else you want to this, and then you'd put it on your wrist like this, and you'd walk around jangling and you would never lose the gear. Add the strap to a pack and use it as an attachment hook, maybe. But the more attachments you have on your pack, the easier it's going to get caught in the woods and the more noise it's going to make, which may or may not be the effect you're going for. If it's normal times in spare country, not a bad idea. Now I do use ceramic knife sharpeners and I've used them for years and I find them a good thing. The problem with a ceramic knife sharpener is over time, and this is a problem with all decent knife sharpeners, you will actually lose the blade and you'll have to replace the blade. Now I don't know about you, but I'm in no danger of running out of knives no matter how hard I sharpen them. But this was a cool addition and I was really pleased he put this in. It's got a little lanyard hole so you could actually attach it to this. I wouldn't. And you can hold this with your thumb and you can sharpen your blade. Quite impressed with that. Very, very lightweight. Not altogether sure if it's the greatest one. I have a lot of other ones and I'm happy to get this. This is nice, very lightweight. Excellent addition to a hiking or camping trip. If it's a bug out bag, you shouldn't be out there that long. So if that's it for the October 2022 Apocabox, I'm happy, but it isn't. I never buy this stuff though. I have in fact ordered some quick tinder because it works so well in that kit I found. But this is a similar idea. Again, they're using wax for this, and the idea is you can start a fire under bad conditions with this, and you have 7 attempts to start the fire. I would sharpen my blade and possibly cut this in quarters and see how that goes rather than use the whole one, but that's just me. Has a nice little sealed tin, bit dented, don't mind that. Quite like the tin, so once this is used up I'll have a nice tin. So is that it? Is that it? Or is that all I got for my Apocabox? You get one of these boxes every 2 months and that was it? No. I already said I think this is the best item in the box for me because I think it's very artistic as well as actually somewhat useful. But an Apocabox Fleck-Tan field blanket might actually be the most useful thing in the kit. Fossil fuels has a nice little bag, so it keeps it integral. And when you open it up, you have a bag. Somewhat waterproof, I suspect you could carry water in that. I'm not going to try it, but I think you could. And you have this. And now in the sunlight. So it's aluminiumized, so if I'm cold and wet, I can get some heat effect. I can feel it slightly. It's going to be very wind resistant. Camo on one side, sunlight reflective on the other for signalling. It's 84 inches long by 60 inches wide. That's big. It's way bigger than my tent base, and you could use this as an emergency tent pad if you needed to. A whole bunch of uses for this. Quite lightweight though bulky. So I really like the grommets on this. These are reinforced. It looks quite sturdy compared to one of the last ones he gave me. That looks sturdy to me. So I could put this up and use it as a rain or a sun protector in a camp. Oh, he also sent me a little bit of paracord. So I'm not quite sure what that was for. The ceramic, maybe? Never open anything. I always have a hard time getting these back in here. However, with this particular one, I managed it easily. And if I didn't, I actually have some bags around from Apocaboxes that are made out of cotton that easily would fit this. I did it. So what do you think about this month's Apocabox? Was it worth it? I think it is for me. This would be probably a $30 Canadian item, possibly 40, depends where you buy it from. It's actually a useful piece of kit. I wouldn't have gone and bought it. But for me, that's the beauty of an Apocabox. It sends me stuff I wouldn't buy, but actually it's good to have. No idea how much a leather strop costs. As a vegan, I wouldn't buy leather normally. If it's used already and the animal's already been killed, then I will use it. I think these are about $20 to $30 Canadian, and possibly less, possibly more. These should be a $3 item. I think they're like $9.99, maybe $14.99, 10 cents. This would definitely be a $10 item. $5.99. This for me would probably be $45 to $60 Canadian, possibly more actually. If it was in a nice bag, a nice box, it would definitely be more. So there you have it from me. That was October 2022 Apocabox. Let me know in the comments below if you think it was a complete load of garbage or if you actually like the items. I think this one is an A. I'm not giving it an A+ for one specific reason. I don't like plastic tat. I don't find this any use at all, and the whole point of jangling keys and a ferro rod off your wrist is really dopey. Don't like that at all. As a strap, it would have been nice as a strap if this was actually able to take this apart and actually connect it to stuff. You can't. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe me, share this video widely, and consider sending me all of your money and your firstborn. Have a great week. Love you, Toodles.
Awesome. And remember, it's not if, but when.
This has been a Nine-Toed Terrier production 2022.
I'm not going to like that, dear.
Dino foot. Wilfred, you've only got 9 toes, I hate to tell you that. But each of your 9 toes are beautiful. How's it looking?
Looks okay. It's got all these stitches.
I know. They haven't dissolved, have they, Wolfie? No. And he has to have a cone on his head at night.
He hates the cone.